Well, hello everyone, and welcome again to Hands Across the Water. Baz, how are you keeping today, mate? All good?
Dead on. Plenty of sunshine over here in Ulster, so it's all good, and it's meant to be a good week. It's coming up to the 12th, so all good.
The 12th's actually meant to be really, really good. To be fair, I was looking at the weather yesterday, so I actually put it up on the Facebook page that the sun will be shining over Ulster on the 12th, and I think it was Scotland's 12th as well. They had theirs there, loads of boys and ladies and lads over from here, enjoying themselves. Ones from Lisburn, etc. Ballinmacash. They were over in the Bristol Bar playing as well. So and the Hillsborough as well, the Hillsborough Bombas as well. They were playing at the Bristol. I think the next night,
Yeah, I think
which was good.
Ballymena
So
was
as it
there
was,
too.
aye, yeah, they were over. So hopefully everyone had a good time. Sure, there's plenty of hangovers and stuff as well. But yeah. Hi Paul, hope you're keeping well, buddy. Yeah. So we're meant to have Stevie on, as you know, guys, and um unfortunately, Stevie with work, he's been pulled back into work again there, so late. So he's apologetic he can't get on this time with us, but he's definitely coming on. Hopefully next week or sometime very soon. But these things happen with work. We know the crack. We know what it's like, Baz, don't we?
Oh yeah, I struggle sometimes to get on this one for exact work, so it's difficult for anybody. You have to work and you have to earn money for your family, so that always comes first.
100%. I was the same myself, actually. I was rushing about like a lunatic today, and I was like, we've scheduled this for 5. I don't know if we're going to get on, if I'm going to get on in time, but it worked out. It worked out that we did get on. Buzz, first and foremost, mate, we're going to start. You've got a wee shout out first. We're going to do because we're doing the Northern Ireland Club every single Saturday. We're basically giving them a whole week. And highlighting their club over here. We're doing all the Northern Ireland clubs at the start. There's that many of them to go through, and there's the feedback's been absolutely amazing. But just before we do that one, there's a wee club Barry who's been on with you on the Twitter, looking a few shout outs as well.
Yeah, William, it's the Caledonian Locomotives Football Club, who are based in Glasgow, and they play in the West of Scotland Football League Division Two. The guys, I've been interacting with the boys there, and they're looking to trying to give them a wee bit of a shout out. They're looking for some player sponsorships and some home game sponsorships. So, if anyone's listening or hears this during the week, get onto their Twitter, give them a wee follow as well. They're trying to reach a milestone of 9,000 followers. So great wee club in Scotland, and they're trying their best there. It's like all clubs, William. In them divisions, they need resources of money to keep them going every week. So it's just a wee
Mm-hmm.
shout out that if anybody's interested, they can get in touch with the boys, the Caledonian, and or at least go on and give them a wee follow anyway.
Yeah, no, 100%. So if anyone is on, if you're especially if you're on the Twitter and stuff, give them as a wee follow because as we know the crack with the small clubs is quite hard. I was actually at the pre-season game over the weekend there. Ballinmacash Rangers were playing Lower Maze, only a few yards from my house. So I went down, had a few beers to watch that. It was quite fun, and it was a good crowd too, actually. At it, but as I say, it's good to support just the small clubs sometimes. You know what I mean? To give them a bit of a hand. So hopefully they do well. And thanks for getting in touch with us. It's good to see that they reached the hand out to us, and we're happy enough to do that back for them. So yeah, Baz, we'll move on to the Sam English Supporters Club. And again, it's a club that I know well, Johnny and all there, who helps us out here as well on the show. Um, a great club. As I say, we love it, especially because Sam English is from here, and it's great that a club's actually using his name. You know what I mean to keep that alive. I think they're actually friends with some of the family members of Sam English and stuff, and they're delighted that they do that, which is absolutely fantastic. And they have a day every year, so they're basically our club of the week, supporters club of the week. Great bunch of lads, Baz.
Oh, absolutely. What to keep that memory going for so long is fantastic. One thing about us over in this country is we'll always latch on to our own, and we'll publicise them, and we'll keep their memories going. So what the boys do there is absolutely fantastic, and I know there's some work behind the scenes over in Glasgow regarding it. So I'm sure we'll stay tuned for that over the coming weeks. Just a wee shout out, William. The Linfield Historical Society reached out to us as well about what the keeping the Sam English what to do. So very very good stuff.
Yeah, 100%. I actually just seen it's just on Facebook. It was up quite late. Otherwise, I'd have had it on here for the show. A picture of their flag up with beside the bonfire there and stuff as well. Absolute cracking picture, so it is. Um, so unfortunately, yeah, I don't have the image right now. I just seen it there just before we come on. Didn't have enough time to get it on, but we'll try and get that on for next week, even that wee image. Um, yeah, but so another thing, just quickly while we're talking about different things before we get on to the football, the Facebook page is up to 23,000 followers. I got to that today. I think it was a few weeks ago. Or it was last week, with 19,000. We were hoping to get 20 before the season kicked off. And we ended up getting, with now 23,000 before actually a ball's been kicked officially, properly in the league, which is absolutely fantastic. So it's good to see anyone who's watching on Facebook and stuff who support us through there. We really appreciate it. It's mad. We have a few extra admins and stuff now helping us out with the page from all different parts of Northern Ireland, which is fantastic. And we really appreciate their help. And hopefully, we'll have a few of them on here soon. If it's all about getting your face on once. It's easy doing it sometimes, Baz, but some people, are a wee bit more weary about it, which is fair. But hopefully, if we can get a few of them on who's been helping us so well, it'll be good crack. So yes, we'll move on, Baz, to football, the Rangers stuff. A wee friendly there at the weekend against Club Bruges. I think everyone was pretty excited about it until we seen the team sheet. And then we knew we sort of thought to ourselves, geez, that's a Club Bruges team. It's a decent side. And obviously we had to witness what we did in the first half. I was pretty poor, but it is pre-season. We know that, but I think the thing is, it was the same old players making the same old mistakes. But if the worst we get out of it is Russell Martin basically seeing that's what certain players can offer him, before he makes his final decisions on who's staying and who's going, it mightn't have been a bad thing.
Well, it's not the worst thing to see the worst that you have to know what you need to move on, and especially in the first half, there was a few players there that it's pretty obvious from last season, and even that the short pre-season that they've had, they're still not up to scratch, and they really aren't going to be future Rangers players, especially in the centre defence. We were awful. See, when I watched that Club Brugge game, it felt like Motherwell, St Mirren, Hibs. It felt like them games, like 2-0 down after 13 minutes, and I was going, "Oh, come on, this is just a carbon copy of last season." Granted, it's a friendly, but it just gave you, after 13 minutes, you were just thinking, oh, "Here we go again. We can't defend." Like, granted, the two centre halves will not start the season as the pairing. I mean, it's pretty obvious if they do, we're in trouble. As you've seen in the second half, when things slightly changed, you've seen a better defensive unit. So, yeah, but it's William, at the end, it's all about, the cobwebs are there too. So it's about wiping the cobwebs away and dusting yourself down. Friendlies are there to experiment. The first half was a terrible experiment, but the second half gave the fans a bit more hope. So it was very much a tale of two halves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, 100%. I think, you're sort of thinking to yourself, right, okay, maybe it's a new system. And I know people has to learn. It's going to take time for anyone, especially the players that are new to Russell Martin and his system, to get used to it. But I think the thing was, it was the same old mistakes, that was seen constantly from the same players. And you sort of know yourself, when we're playing Panathinaikos here in the Champions League, I'll put every money I have, which isn't much, but I'll put it all on that it wouldn't be a defensive partnership of king and proper, But Russell Martin gave these guys their chance to basically go, as he did say in his press conference at the start, look, people always can surprise you. People can come into the team and make you sort of think, right, maybe they do have something to offer, and but I think when he stuck them on, he's seen that maybe the likes of them guys don't. And I don't want to be too, they're great lads. I've seen likes of Stevie and stuff, and David and all, he would know these guys, obviously, through doing the fan media and stuff, and they're, one-to-one, lovely people. But this is Rangers Football Club, and it's not about being a nice guy. It's about what you offer on the pitch. And unfortunately, Baz, them two especially, they're just not Rangers standard.
Well, you can throw Kieran Dowell into the mix there. I'm not a fan of Kieran Dowell whatsoever. And when I seen him in the team sheet, I thought, it's like, this can't be happening. absolutely bog awful. And I'll tell you, you see his performance in the first half exactly cemented my feelings towards him as a player, not as a personal thing, but as a player at Rangers, that he isn't up to scratch and he shouldn't be there. The same goes for Robin Proper. King, when you talk about King's been there for years, and his development hasn't went anywhere else.
Yeah.
It is the way he seems to have came to a standstill on how his development is. These guys aren't they're not good enough. We have a Champions League qualifier coming up, William. You wouldn't throw any of the three of them into the mix. None of them. No chance.
Yeah, I think the likes of King, and that's a Rangers problem because, you know, in years gone by, Baz, players like that who maybe just weren't at that level would have been already away to your Falkirks, or do you know what I mean, or maybe lower down the leagues or wherever it is in the championship that have been. But wherever we've been hanging on to players for too long, a lot of these talented players, you get to a certain level and are you going to do it or are you not? Some people excel, some people don't. King, unfortunately, it's just he had a chance. There's Paul saying he refused to go out on loan last season because he thought he had a chance of getting into the team. I don't know why, or how he thought that, because he wasn't really given much chances either. I think he got on once last season, Baz, and he was. I think it was like half an hour in or something. He got an injury and had to be hooked off, and that was as much as we've seen of him. But yeah, then he likes of them, especially King. He needs to just move on now and then and make a career for himself somewhere else. You know what I mean? Proper. Hopefully, he's away back to 20 ASAP because as I say, he's just that's not going to do it. Dahl. Hopefully, Birmingham them fans down there think he's a great player. I thought maybe I doubted it, but I thought maybe with having a good spell down there, maybe he'll come back up and you'll see something different. But he just put in to see him gearing down performances that we've seen. Maybe the shirt's just too heavy for him, boss.
His performances are boring. There's no zip till his play. There's no, and I know this probably sounds a bit harsh, but the reality is, if we want to win stuff, if we want to qualify for Champions Leagues, these players are not fit for purpose. And by the way, that includes our own Ross McCausland. I mean, he got a chance yesterday to come on, and he didn't really do anything either. These guys need to seize the moment. When they get the opportunity, is go out there and take the bull by the horn. But they didn't. They just didn't do it. Other players did. Some other players did do that. It looks at Barami. That's probably I know it's only a friendly, but Barami looked sharper. He looked more engaged with the side. He was playing in his more professional position rather than stuck out in the left. He played more of a number 10 type of role, and I thought he was fantastic in the second half. That for me was a good positive yesterday, and that's what I'm saying. William and friendlies. This is about getting these players, dusting the cobwebs down and seeing who's up for the season and who's ready to go. Some are at the minute, and sadly, some of them aren't.
Yeah, no, that's the case. I thought second half, I thought we played well. Diamandi and stuff was Barami, as you said, came on did a bit of a game. I would also add to that Club Brugge had done what they needed to do in the first half with their players. I think they made a few changes too. But the point is, you can only play as the team you're playing against. And obviously, the second half team wasn't just as strong, but I thought our performance, just looking at our passing and stuff, was definitely better, definitely more energetic and stuff. Um, and I like the looks of that guy Fernandez when he come on. Now, some people were saying he looked a wee bit lethargic, sort of running back and stuff. But as Russell Martin did say, to be fair, he says, listen, a lot of these players, I've run them into the ground. He's run them all into the ground, and some of them will be a wee bit fatigued. But I thought anything in the Urbaz, 6'4", the big man was pretty decent.
The physicality part impressed me. You're right in the touching about getting a wee bit lethargic, but I thought, well, I seen this. Oh Jesus, he's grew every day. I think he's up to 8'3" at the minute. So it's absolutely fantastic. It's a good job he wasn't to say Yilmaz. It'd have been even smaller there. Orange is tiny, but Yilmaz is very small. No, he's got the physicality. I would say, William, you see him, we're playing games against, Ross County and these type of teams. He's probably going to be a player who's going to become useful. Just that, they like to lump balls forward and play that physicality game. I think he actually will be a bit of an asset all season. I don't think he'll start every week, going by rumoured centre halves that we're still interested in. But can he do a job? Well, I'd like to think so. Could he be the modern day Balogun? Could he be that type of player? Who likes to mix it, could put a good tackle in. And because Balogun was very physical as well, he liked to shrug people off. And yeah, I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm super excited that he's here, but I think he could be another piece of the cog that's been missing. We haven't had that type of player for a while, so yeah. For me, he had a good show yesterday.
Yeah, what did you think about Diamandi, Baz? I thought Dio came on play well. It was a nice wee finish as well from him.
Dio's a fantastic player when he's on it. Let's be honest. And the way Club Bruges were set up, it suited Diamandi. He got a lot more space with the ball in the midfield, so you can see that's his best attribute. When he gets a wee bit of space, European football. We've talked about this before. Diamandi looks like the £10 million type of player. Then when he's playing maybe St Mirren, he looks a wee bit lost sometimes. He doesn't like that physicality in the midfield. But in terms of what was seen from Diamandi yesterday when he did come on, he certainly improved the side. I actually thought we played better when he came on.
Yeah, no, 100%. And that was young Curtis as well, Baz. Got the second goal. We've heard before about him and his finishing ability. And to play the full 89th minute, he had a chance there to slot it home, and he took it well, mate. I thought he played pretty well too. And exciting, it's like as Steve there we were talking about before, lads. He would watch the youth team a lot. I've seen him talking about him, and very promising, but excited about him coming in and get this chance. I thought he played very well yesterday. It was a lovely, lovely finish.
And by the way, he played on both sides of the pitch, which was good.
Mm-hmm.
He played in the right, and he also played in the left, and he played well in both positions. So that's another plus for us. And as Rangers fans, we always want to sign great players. We always want that big name coming into Ibrox, but we also want to see what the academy's producing. But we've all talked about for years the money that's been pumped into the academy and the money that's been pumped into the youngsters, but we've seen very little of them coming through into the first team. And going by Curtis yesterday, I mean, he's definitely staking his place that he's going to get a chance this season. And his performance was top drawer. And, that's what we want. We want to see our young players coming in, and we want to see the young players excelling. Because the likes of Curtis, you're not paying a fee for him, William. You're not going out and spending 5 or 6 million on a player like that. You've already got him. And Curtis will not be on huge wages. He'll be on huge wages to what me and you would earn. But he wouldn't be on huge wages to maybe what Tavernier's on, or, Raskin or whatever. So I hope he seizes the opportunity this season. I also hope, and I do think Russell Martin will give him the opportunity. He may not start the season as a first team player, but during the season there may be injuries, there may be times where you're going to have to rely on the boy. And going by yesterday's performance, I know it's only one game, it's only one season game, but he's certainly fit. He's certainly he's listening to what Martin's told him and what he expects from him, and that's a real promising thing for me.
Yeah, 100%. But like the sniper says there as well, but I'm here not to sound bad, but to push people out of the way, and that's what it's all about. It's about having that confidence in you, putting that blue shirt on you, and just going, I'm a Rangers player, and I'm going to put it on. I'm going to, I'm going to turn it on today. I earned this, And some people can hack that, Baz, and some people can't, and that's why I'm saying the likes of Kieran Dahl, and I'm looking at Proper that have done it in the past and other teams. And we've seen that with Dahl last season at Birmingham. But sometimes that blue shirt is just too heavy for certain players, and there's not much you can do about that. It's just you either have it or you don't.
Yeah, the expectation level at Rangers is absolutely crazy. I mean, we know this every season that starts, and when we're involved in a full season, we expect to win every match. End of. That's it. There's no. We don't want draws. We certainly don't want any losses. We want to win. And some players can't. You're right, William. They can't carry that weight on the shoulders. The expectations of the fans, like you see it at Ibrox. If you have one or two bad games, the fans are on your back straight away. So that's the level. You have to reach them levels week in, week out.
Yeah, 100%. we're starting to see what Russell Martin's trying to do, Baz. As in, if you look at the signings, especially defence, I think we're in for Nazar Yiga from Wolves, 6'4" centre back. Fernandez, 6'4". We've been weak, especially at corners, both offensively and defensively. We have been weak and poor and been bullied by the teams in Scotland. And it looks like Russell Martin's trying to change that, Baz, and getting himself proper big lads in that can also play with the football and play it on the ground, but can be commanding in the air. And we've been desperately needing that for a long time.
It doesn't take a rocket scientist to work out where the problems have been at Rangers, and certainly at centre back level, we have been pretty poor last season, and if you also look at it, Enciala has rumoredly been told that he needs to find first team football, but it will not be at Ibrox. So he's looking at what's there. He's looking at what he needs to change. But the back line's very important because the way Martin plays tactically, it's a very high press. If you noticed yesterday, as soon as Club Brugge have the ball at the back, we are pressing hard. Now, when you press hard, if you don't win the ball, what happens behind those attacking players? You leave gaps. So what you need good defensive players to be on the ball, to be able to mop things up, because we will get countered attack over the season with Russell's style of play. We're not going to score every time we run forward. So having a good back line is going to be very, very important. I would still also like to see Rangers bring another goalkeeper in. I think that's very important as well. But I think you can start to see the shape, William, of Martin, of where he's going, what he's trying to implement. I actually thought James Tavernier had a good second half as well when he came on as the right centre back. I actually thought he played quite well yesterday. So I think you're going to see a whole new defence. And I would expect a goalkeeper in by the end of the window.
Think so,
Might not be. I don't think it'll be before the Champions League, but I think there'll be another goalkeeper brought in. Because if you look at Butland and you look at Liam Kelly, they don't really play to his style. They're not ball carrying goalkeepers that like to play the ball out. So I think I would watch the space on that one with the goalkeeper. But yes, you can definitely see where he's going with William. And for us, centre half is a must. That's the biggest. That's you can win games by scoring, but you can also win games by defending well.
Yeah. Thanks, mate. Or thanks for the sub, mate. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. And anyone else, if you are watching and you aren't subscribed yet, it just helps us out, obviously, and gets us a wee bit of better reach. What do you think? Mark Doy there saying, well, Mark's asked us a few questions. I think he's been looking to know if the Crystal Palace winger's been signed on loan. Yep, there's been nothing yet, Mark. Just to let you know, buddy. But I think things are happening in the background. Russell Martin has actually said that he expects the team to look a lot different for the next game that we have coming up. The squad will look a lot different, thank God, because it needs it big time after what was seen yesterday. A lot of them need to go out. But no new signings as yet. But anything can happen. It'll probably, as soon as we go off here, there'll probably be something happen. That's the way it usually goes.
Yeah, that happened last week. Went mental after.
Well, we said in the show last week, Baz, remember? We heard after the 1st of July, maybe they'll start to do the same, because that was what the rumour was, new financial year. It ended up happening because I think we've got 4 since we were last on Monday.
I know, it's crazy. But that's the way Rangers are doing things. There's nobody on social media that has full inside knowledge with these players. They're just coming and signing straight away. Nobody's getting an insight. You're getting a rumor and then they're signing within hours. But that's the way it should be.
Yeah. What do you think of this player, Baz Asgard? I've seen him a few times playing down south. Then obviously the YouTube video. We all know what YouTube videos are like. It can make anyone look good, but from the video and stuff I watch, and any time I've seen him, he looks like a lively wee player, Baz. And he's been in 2 teams now that haven't had much of the ball. Wigan and then Luton. Just the way it worked out, they were teams probably more more on the defensive side rather than the dominant team. I think he's going to be a player that's going to excel, Baz. The Luton manager was chatting about him as well, and he was sort of devastated that he lost him. But also, kudos to the Luton manager for saying, look, he's joined a fantastic club in Rangers. He deserves it. He's playing for Norway. He scored in his debut. And an exciting one for us, Baz. I think he's going to be a really good player.
Well, I mean, if he's able to do the stats that he does in a team that doesn't hold possession, what can he do about Ibrox with a team that does hold possession? His numbers could double to what he's had at Luton, and I think it was Wigan before that. So yeah, he's an exciting young player. He's obviously just been made into an international. He's only one cap, but at Rangers, that's going to give him better opportunities to stay in the national team. We play in Europe. We play high profile games. We play them as across the city. You do well, you'll be noticed. We've seen this with Raskin. Raskin's been able to do it with the Belgium squad by playing well for Rangers in Scotland and in Europe. So he looks exciting. I'm actually really excited to see him. I think the first time we're probably going to see him is probably going to be a Champions League game, not a friendly, obviously, and because I think they'll be behind the closed game friendlies now rather than what we're seeing yesterday before the first game up against Panathinaikos. So yeah, I'm excited to see him. I think he's the sort of player we've been missing. That sort of Scott Arfield type of player, energetic, likes to get on the ball, likes to take a shot from outside the box. So yeah, I think he'll do really well.
Yeah, no, definitely. As I say, I can see why we've been playing some behind closed doors after watching yesterday. I mean, there's still a lot of tweaking, and the problem is for Russell Martin, as we knew this anyway, Baz, at the start. There's a lot of dead wood there. It's hard. A lot of them's on good money. It's trying to get people in to take them, obviously, for a start. Then you're trying to add in new players. Plus, you've got a whole system change. Players that aren't really fit, that he's trying to run them ragged to try and get them fit. There's so many things that have to come together, Baz. So it's going to take time, because yesterday I see a lot of comments there from the guys and the gals in the comments basically saying they weren't too happy with the boo. And yesterday, Rangers fans are ruthless. Not all, you know what I mean, is not everyone at Ibrox is booing. There was some. And I thought to myself, me first game, like pre-season. But what I will say is, being devil's advocate in that one, Baz, I don't think it was probably as much towards the manager and stuff like that. I think it was more towards certain players that people's just fed up watching. If we're being honest, I don't know what you think.
Nobody wants anybody but booing at Ibrox. I mean, we've had plenty of it before, but you know, when you seen the team sheet that came out, there was a few getting targeted straight away because they've been targeted up since they've been there. The likes of Proper and Dahl, who don't really offer anything to the mix. So I would say the boom was probably more towards those type of players rather than what obviously the management setup or anything. I don't believe they were booing against that. I think it was just we've seen enough of Dahl, we've seen enough of Proper. But don't want to watch him anymore. Maybe Apple's the booing. Get rid of them. But why are they even playing? What's the point of them being here? Maybe that's what it was to do with. But booing's not something that I don't advocate. I don't think it's the right thing. Certainly not in a first pre-season game with a new manager. I think it's slightly tasteless, to be honest with you. And I know, like, people pay their tickets, they can go, they can shout, and they can do what it's their money. They pay their ticket money, but we need to get behind the team as well. I know that sounds a bit contradictory when I'm talking about Dahl, etc. and stuff, but them players aren't going to be. They're not going to be there, William. They're not going to play first team football. It's not going to happen. And with the Champions League game coming very soon, there's maybe a couple of players he doesn't want to play from the start. I mean, he wants to protect them. So
Yeah.
and it's a difficult one.
What about I'll ask you, Baz, about Big Dessers and Egaman. We'll split them into two here. We'll talk Dessers first. Obviously, all the rumours that he was going and Egaman was close to signing for Lille and stuff. Then, obviously, when they weren't in the squad, everyone then, when you put two and two together, you get five. That's the way we are as supporters. We were like, right, well, they're definitely going. It seems to be that it was a small ankle niggle for Dessers, but he was obviously there yesterday. Russell Martin talked about that and says that he basically the bid that came in was nowhere near the valuation of the club. And Eggman, he had a visa issue. I think that happened again, but last season with him too, something of a visa issue as well. But must have had it wasn't up to scratch or whatever. But he's on his way back as well. But we'll start with Dessers first, Baz. What's the situation there? It's a bit all over the place, isn't it? But the big man scores the goals, 50 goals in 2 seasons. I can understand why the club are basically, look, this is the fee if you want them. This is what it is. But I have a feeling that those two will maybe stay around, Baz, for that Panathinaikos doubleheader, because it's getting to that time now. It's getting late now. If you need somebody in, obviously, to be to lead your attack for these two qualifiers. And as time ticks on, I'm thinking you might see them actually still in the squad when we play Panathinaikos. But what's your thoughts on Big Dessers?
Well, when you have Dessers available, and I mean, if Dessers isn't sold before the Panathinaikos game and we don't bring any more strikers in, we need to play him, because we've seen yesterday with Danilo, he's not up to scratch just yet either. So if we're relying on Danilo, we're in a bit of trouble. So I'd actually, if we're paying Dessers' wages and he's available and we're playing Panathinaikos, you must start the guy. You have to play him. If we haven't brought anybody in beforehand, we have to. You can't have players at the club who are getting paid wages and aren't available for selection. It's what's best for the team, what's best for the Champions League qualification. And if it means playing Dessers, even if he's in the middle of a move, you just got to do it. You got to put your best team out. Danilo's not ready yet. So I don't know what the fee is. There's nobody, we're all guessing here on how much AAK has offered. We're also guessing on how much Rangers want from him. I don't know where the big gap is. So, a Rangers looking 6 million and the AAK is only going to be looking to pay 3.5 or something like that. Is that is that how far away we are? Because I can't see it being AAK wanting to pay 4.5 and Rangers looking 5. I don't think, £500,000 wouldn't be a massive gap. You could try and work something in between. So I'd just love to know what AAK is offered, to have a full opinion on it, because I don't know.
Well, this is it. You're only going by Russell Moore's comments, obviously. And obviously he says, look, the evaluation was nowhere near. So obviously it's quite a bit away. Obviously, that's what his comments are. So basically, if they want them, they'll have to stumble up more money. But if I'll say one thing, it's good to hear that we're not just, if you look at the Lammer situation, the Todd Cantwell situation last season, Baz, we were just giving them away for anything. Sure, when we checked the club accounts, remember the club accounts came out and we seen what we got for them. It was embarrassing. Do you know what I mean? I would have rather have just held on to them, to be honest, than just throw them away like that. So it was crazy management structure in our club. Way we were being run was madness. So I'm glad to see at least now the club's going, look, hold on a minute. If you want to get the big man that scores 50 goals in two seasons, this is what we value him at. Obviously, we'll come. It's like anything, if you're selling anything, you'll come down and there'll be haggling. But there must be quite a bit apart, Baz, for the manager to come out and say that,
And that's what I mean. I don't know what Rangers are valuing him at either.
Yeah, well, that's all rumours.
I don't know. There's no idea.
Yeah. What about Eggman then, Baz? Because you're just hearing all these rumors. He's going and the 15 million, 16 million, all this, and 30% selling clauses. Now it's 15% selling clause. And there he is. He's if it's been a visa issue, he's on his way. And as I say, there's no more closer to a move. So, but he's another good young prospect.
Well, the difference with Eggman is a lot younger than Dessers, and the potential with Eggman is very, very high. So if Rangers are going to do a deal with the Eggman sale, it has to be really good. It has to be top drawer money. It has to have good sell-on clauses. Personally, I'd like to see Eggman stay for at least one more year. I think one more year would be brilliant. And if he got more games, let's not forget Clement pulled him back a lot. He didn't play him in certain games when we thought he was going to start. Then he played him over in the left, and then he tried this weird systems with him instead of just letting the boy play as a striker. So, in terms of Eggman, I'd like to see stay for a year. I think his value could go even higher. I think with games, when you've seen them sort of goals, William, that he scored in Europe, and especially that goal he scored to win the Old Firm game there, 3-2, that was a fantastic goal. So there's great potential there, and he's lovely skills, he's lovely footwork. Needs to work a wee bit more on passing now and again, a wee bit quicker. But he's a young player, and that them sort of things will develop into his game. If you were asking me, you've got Dessers, you've got Egaman. Who am I keeping? I'm keeping Egaman. That's what I think.
Hmm.
I think that's the player you should keep. I think that's the player that can get us the best value for money. I think with Dessers being at 30, I think how much more money are we going to get for Dessers? In another season, he's going to be
Yeah.
31. The value's going to go down. So Egaman for me, but then again, William Egaman has to want to be there. He has to want to wear the jersey, and he has to want to go out there and fight for his place. Dessers will do that for you, whether he stays or not. You know, he will do that. With Egaman, again, William, this is what we've been used to for the last few weeks. It's all speculation. People saying he wants to go, he's been pushing it. Nobody has said that other than stupid paper talk. So, you know, I would say Russell Martin's had the conversation with him, regardless of whether he's been at Ibrox or not. I'm sure there's been a phone call or a video call to see where his head's at. Very
Yeah.
interesting. But what I would say is, if these guys are going, get them going and get strikers in pretty quickly. You know, replace them quickly.
Yeah, and that there's where I think, Baz, there might be a possibility they'd be in the squad, as I say, for these Champions League games, only because, it's coming thick and fast, and we need it to happen, as you said, it needs to happen pretty soon, but when you've got a manager coming out there only yesterday, and this game is a couple of weeks away, and you're saying, look, they're nowhere near the valuation, how do you get, and players are only worth what someone wants to pay for them at the same time, so how do you get that stumbling block moved, in time? And then you're trying to
Oh,
go ahead and get deals from someone else and get them in. And
well, it has to be said. I'm not going to name the particular individual, but the individual that came out and said he wasn't even worth 15 million, and who had previously worked with him for the last few months, so that doesn't help either. You know what I mean? We're trying to get a biggest sale as we can for Egaman, and we've got ex people who coached him saying he's not even worth the 15 million. So there are the sort of things that don't help you. You know, that don't help when you're in negotiations. And that's why Rangers are so. Or you see the way Rangers have done negotiations in these few weeks. Nothing has been leaked. Nothing. All the big hitters.
yeah,
Nobody has got the information. It's literally there. You go. There's a scarf. There's the picture. We've just signed him. Nobody has been able to get in the inside. And for me, that's what you want. The 49ers do it at Leeds. They just announce players. Complete. You have no idea who they're even looking at, and the next thing you just say, he signed 4-year contract. That's a new player, and we're all like, Jesus, didn't see that coming. And that's
yeah,
Rangers, and especially William. We're in a market in Scotland where we can only spend so much money, and the guy said it at the EGM. We need to play things the right way. We can't leak stuff out where players then valuations get put up, and it scuppers deals. So they're playing a very tight line, and for me, William, I have to say they've played a blinder at the minute. I think they've done really well in the players they brought up, especially if you look at Joe Rothwell. That's a
yeah,
fantastic signing. That is a
yes.
really good signing.
Yeah, and he's a good age too, Baz, and he's our player. You know what I
Fantastic.
mean? Now we own him. And look, he's been with Southampton. That championship bar, it's notorious. It's a hard league. We know it. When you watch, you like leagues yourself and stuff. You watch the championship all the time. I like to watch a lot of football. I'll watch the championship. It's tough matches every week. And that guy 2 in a row has been in the teams that went up to win the league in that division. For us to get him, cracker. There's the Asgard player as well, cracker. You know what I mean? So I'm excited by who's coming in. There's plenty more to come. It's just you just want to see as many in as possible, as quickly as possible. But it has to be the right player. I loved Russell Martin's comments, Baz, on the I think it was Saturday, just before. Yeah, it was a interview was put out by Rangers, and basically what he says was along the lines of, listen, if we're speaking to players, if they come to me and go, listen, right, okay, thanks for the chat, we're going to go to speak to this option, speak to that option. He says straight away they get told no, move on. We're Rangers Football Club. If you're not desperate to come here, we're moving on to the next one. And I'm glad to hear that, Baz, as well. That's the way we need to do things, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. As I said to you before, that's the way the club should be. The club has to be run in the right way. But some of the signings we've made have there's been a wee bit like see like the Joe Rothwell that came very left field, and I watched them all. I watched them last season, William. I seen nearly every game that he played, And what I would say to all, they see all the guys that are watching us at the minute, I'm telling you, you've got, this is a really good player. I'm telling you, he will do the hard grafting. He'll do all the running. See when he gets the ball, William, he likes to smash her forward. He gets forward. He also likes to take corners. He likes to take free kicks. Might take the pressure off Tavernier, especially if he's maybe not starting every game. But at the minute, Rangers are doing things the right way. And I personally, I think there'll be some more really good additions. I think there'll be some players. I don't think we have seen the signing of the summer yet. I think that's still to come. I think there's at least one name that'll come, and I really do think it'll blow us away. I'm not suggesting a Rodrigo or that type of player, but I think there's a player we'll think, jeepers, I didn't think would have got him. So I do think that'll happen.
Yeah, hopefully so. But as I say, like I've seen, and I know, don't get me wrong, I know a lot of people is a bit peed off because we've seen championship players before come and not been very good. You know what I mean? But it's been the standard of players we've been getting. They haven't been great players. It's like any league. There is certain players. You know what I mean? You have your average players, you have your good players. We've always sort of went for the average, below average, in my opinion. The last wee while, I know Gerard brought a lot of cracking talent up, but the likes of Martin, he's bringing in really I say the Rothwell Asgard, and I'm looking at them and going, hold on a minute, yeah, they're championship players, but they're quality. They're very, very good. You know what I mean? And these are the kind of players that hopefully be able to unlock these defenses that we haven't been able to do for quite some time.
So,
That's
sometimes,
also
William,
true.
it's
We
just
were skint. We're just saying.
yeah.
That's right. Saying we were skinties, right?
If you look in the past, we spent money on Joey Barton. We spent money on Aaron Ramsey, players who were Premier League players who were played international level. Especially Aaron Ramsey, he was at the pinnacle of his career when he played for Arsenal and Juventus. But he came to Ibrox and he didn't fit the mold. He didn't fit what needed at that time. And he came as a very big name. I remember when he signed, everybody was going absolutely crazy, but signed this player from Juventus and he was brilliant and it didn't work out. So it's about identifying the right player. It doesn't necessarily have to be the big name. It just has to be the right player that suits the system you're trying to play. And I think with some of the signings we've already made, I think that's the way to go. If you look at the lad from Peterborough, when he signed, everybody's like, right, Peterborough, right? And then you're looking at his stats and you're thinking he hasn't really done too much. But then when you see him yesterday and you see that wee role that he played, you think, actually, I see maybe why he's brought him into this side. He's a different type of player. He's more physical. He's not like the Frank de Boer who likes to get the ball from the box and play out nice football. He's just a no-nonsense defender that's going to bundle you into the ground. And sometimes you need players like that.
Yeah, 100%. I'm just looking through the comments here. Just a lot of people are in the comments. Baz, don't be mentioning those names, please. You're giving everyone bad flashbacks here, and me as well.
Was it? I just for said, was it Ramsey or Barton or was it both?
Philippe Senderos. Oh, say no more.
Oh,
It was bad.
We could do a full show. Ramsey's penalty was brutal. That was one of the worst moments I've ever seen. We actually should have won the game in 90 minutes. Never mind going to penalties. But yeah, when Ramsey stood up, he didn't. And Ramsey was brought on to take penalties. He wasn't even fit. That was a shocker.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that brings back bad memories. You're right, Sid. Sorry for ruining your night.
No, but there's a lot of bad. But as I say, Baz, look into the future for us. I'm positive. You know what I mean? As I say, it's going to take time to build everybody. It's going to take time to build everything up, build the players that we have at the minute, also bringing new guys in, getting everybody sort of sorted. But I think it's just looking at who we're looking for and who we've brought in. Definitely exciting. But
Here's one for you. We signed Big Marvin Andrews. Wasn't a big name. Was not expected to come to Ibrox to be a superstar. It was look what he achieved at Rangers. Big Marvin wasn't a sulky player, but he had what Rangers needed at the time. He had the heart. And gave everything to Rangers. And they're the players you need at Rangers. Those type of players, we've had them over the years. They're not world beaters, but the flavour of the first 11, you need players like that in your squad, William. And if you look at the last couple of seasons, we haven't had those type of players. That are willing to fight. There's the bads. They'll put it in your heart, and some of these players don't do it. They just want a good wage, and then they want to just piss about in the pitch most of the time. So there is success stories that should cheer the boys up. Mentioning Big Marvin, because that brings back good memories for me.
Yeah, 100%. Well, they're way down for training, Baz. I think they're playing behind closed doors match as well before the Panathinaikos game. And as I say, it's going to be a bit of a different squad. Well, hopefully a lot different. That's what the manager says anyway. Getting into that Panathinaikos match, so it'll be interesting to see who's the defensive partnerships, who's in midfield, who's going to be leading the attack. And we will start to see what's happening with the team. We'll just say there, someone's put in May. Let me see. May I say, gents, it was a pleasure listening to John Brown commentary on RTV. Well done, Rangers, for sticking by. John Brown, 100%. I agree with that one. And I think it was perfect, Baz, and fitting that John Brown was given the mic for the very next game, which had to happen.
John Brown epitomises what Rangers is all about. John Brown gets the full fibre of the club. John Brown comes over to Northern Ireland and gets involved with the stuff over with us. He travels over to America, he travels to Australia, he travels all around with Rangers all over the place, and he gets the DNA. For me, when you look at Rangers, I know we'll talk about the greatest ever Ranger is John Gregg, and that is true. But when you've got people like Bomber Brown still at the club and what Rangers means to him, that's what we need. And the fact that Rangers stuck Bam 110%, I expect no less. You know what I mean, William? That Bomber Brown says it as it is. He was speaking the truth. It was when we go back to that decision and what happened, John Brown said what everybody was thinking. You know what I mean? So great to see Rangers sticking Bam, and I'd love to see John Brown on every week.
Oh yeah, 100%. Just Scotty from that Another Rangers podcast. Cheers, buddy. We had Scotty on last week. It was brilliant. We really enjoyed that, and we're booked in to go in. Myself is going to go into their podcast as well. But Scotty, just while you're listening, mate, tell Ricky. I was watching back your next one, and tell Ricky his Northern Irish accent was awful. Absolutely awful. He attempted to do one, Baz, and it was terrible.
I watched it. I actually commented on it on YouTube. I did watch it. His accent was. I'm not sure. I'm not sure where he got that accent from. It was like Southern Donegal or something. It wasn't a Northern Ireland one.
It was brutal. But anyway, that's why I don't try to do Scottish accents, to be fair, because mine would be just as bad. So that's why I try not to do it. But on the Bomber Brown situation, 100%. Just he's us. Do you know what I mean? He's one of us. I know when he was lucky, he was very, very good at football and got to represent Rangers Football Club. But he came over to Northern Ireland, and as I say, plenty of people can come over to Northern Ireland, fly over, fly back, away they go. He chose to be like, no, hang on the boat, coming back with the guys, with the clubs, travelled over, and it was amazing. As I say, he didn't have to do that. Mingled with everyone. All the guys in the boat were saying he was first class, taking pictures the whole 2 hours on the ship over. Couldn't do enough for the people there, and that there's what Rangers is all about. He epitomises what our football club's all about. He said what he said because at the end of the day, maybe on the comms, you know what I mean? You have to be careful of what you say, but the difference is when he's a fan like us, he's just going to say what he thinks, and that's what he thought, that's what he believes, which a lot of us do believe, and what he said was correct. But for the club to put him on, because they could have tried to hide him away and went, right, that caused us a bit of heat, we'll back off of that one, we'll put somebody else up, but the fact was they stuck with him, and that speaks volumes for me.
That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. You have to stand by each other. There's nothing else I can say more on that.
Yeah, 100%. So basically, Baz, we're about 10 minutes to go here. As I say, we're buzzing for the Rangers news. We're buzzing because it's the big weekends coming up, the 11th and 12th. As I say, the Scottish 12th happened there over the weekend. Everyone seemed to have a really, really good time. The weather over here is meant to be absolutely amazing for the 11th and 12th as well, and we're buzzing for it. Anyone that's watching or in the comments, if any of you are coming over, hope you have a really good time. Enjoy yourselves, be safe, enjoy the sun, bring the sunblock because the sun's going to be shining over here, and have a good time. Or maybe might even do a live on the YouTube, maybe one of the parades or stuff over the 12th if I get a chance. It's a family day for myself with the kids and stuff, but I'll try my best to get a video or two up for any of you that can't make a trip over. Are you going to say something, Baz? Sorry.
Jeff wants you to do a Scottish accent.
Me?
Well, that was both of us, but Jeff's one of our long-time followers, so you're going to have to do something there.
Oof, I don't want to annoy anyone here. Well, I'll just say, well, you know what? I'll go for an easy one. Aaron Brew. Just say that. Is that fair enough, or is that annoying people?
I know Scotty drinks a bit of Aaron Brew, so he's laughing. He must have understood that bit.
I know 100%, as I say, but we're going to try and get a few videos up, of maybe a few bonfires in the 11th and stuff, because it's it's our traditions over here. It's all about being respectful to others too, of course. But it's a big week for us, Baz. As I say, and will you have your Factor 50 ready?
I would burn like a crisp, to be honest with you. So, but we'll see. We've heard this crap before, and then the weather doesn't be as good as it normally does. Like dark clouds or some nonsense. But if it's good in the 12th, sure, that's the main day anyway. It'll be warm in the 11th night, that's for sure, whether it's raining or not.
Oh, as it always is. But as I say, it's good to see, and this is what I love about the Rangers connection, Baz, as well, and the Northern Ireland and Scotland. We're just so similar. You know what I mean, in our values and how we get on, and that's why we get on so well. And it's good to have shared traditions like this. We love our Rangers Football Club first and foremost. We'll have our likes of our days here. The Scottish 12th. We'll have the 12th over here. People's going over there all the time. People's coming back over here all the time. There's some brotherhoods has been made, hasn't there, Nick? When you look at it.
Yeah, 100%. I just want to mention the Sniper. The Sniper put in a couple of comments about us going over the Ibrox, where we're coming over and stuff. So we are planning to do that in the new season. So we haven't picked out which ones yet, the Sniper, but yes, we will be.
Oh yeah, 100%. The last one I was out there was the Old Firm match. It was a pretty dead affair, really. But it is what it was, isn't it? We Rangers went 1-0 up, big dashers again. But it was a good day. I enjoyed myself. A wee bit too much to drink though. Flip me, see, I late home. But it was great crack going over again. But we've been going over since I've been over since I was 9 years of age. And I've always loved it and always loved the crack. Always been treated very well. Anytime we go over to the matches, you're treated like royalty by the people in Scotland. Baz, and he wants to hear the accent, And it was good to see when Scotty was on last week. He said he's been here for Northern Ireland for concerts and stuff in Belfast, and he's always been treated so well. And that's what I'm trying to say about the whole hands across the water thing. It's just amazing, the friendships, and we treat each other with respect. You know what I mean?
I was actually wondering how Scotty got on with the Iron Maiden concert, because that's bound to been a noisy affair. Them heavy metalers, boy, they go crazy. I would say Scotty definitely woke up with a sore loaf unless he's used to them type of concerts. But that's a heavy metal set there, Iron Maiden.
100%. I know. That's the same. Iron Maiden's amazing. To imagine going this. I've never actually seen them live though, but Scotty went. Sorry, go ahead, Baz.
No, it's a type of concert, William, you've got to be prepared for. It's a I went to some when I remember being over at Leeds and seeing some of them heavy metal things. It's a full night of all go, to be fair. But I know Run to the Hills. I know that song. I don't know a lot more Iron Maiden songs. I just know that one there well. But as long as Scott enjoyed it, that's the main thing.
Well, hopefully Proper and them boys will be running for the hills as well by the time we chat next week. And they're away out, and the pastures new, and we can start getting better quality back in again. But
we can actually get some of them players together and play that song, Run to the Hills, and just let them keep going. No, one way ticket.
A one-way ticket, exactly. But as always, guys, we're sort of going to wrap it up now. Hopefully, well, Monday, Baz, you're away, aren't you? Obviously, because I don't know if we'll be on Monday here coming, because obviously you know the crack, guys, with the 12 and stuff. We'll be laying low, nursing hangovers, like. But as I say, if you are on the subscribe to the YouTube channel, we will definitely get something on anyway over the 12th, if it's a bit of the parade. Where I'll be at, maybe a bit of the bonfires on the 11th and stuff. But I think we're taking a day off, Baz, on Monday, aren't we?
Yes, I'll be away. I have to take the kids away for a few days. So, my youngest one has autism, as you know, William, and learning difficulties and stuff. So we like to take her away into the middle of nowhere with nice closed areas and stuff, and let her do her wee thing for a few days. So that's our plan. So I definitely won't be here for the Monday. But if you yourself don't get on the Monday, we'll maybe try and move this show further up the week.
Yeah, we could do that.
We'll definitely do something, and we'll keep everybody posted on that.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. We'll play it by ear, because I think the way it works over here, everyone's off mostly anyway. I'll be off. I think I have the whole week booked off next week too. Can't bloody wait. Fridays, once I clock off on Friday, that's me for a full week. So we'll get another show up, and we'll see if a few more signs and stuff like that. There'll be stuff to talk about, hopefully.
Yeah.
And we'll see how it goes. But as always, everyone that's been in the comments, absolute pleasure as always being with you. The support's absolutely second to none, and we're starting to see the same faces coming in all the time and commenting, and we really appreciate it, guys. We're very, very happy you join us, actually, because I know it's a weird time at 5 p.m. slot. People's having dinner and stuff, but you just make the effort to come and join us, and it's amazing.
Yeah, and I know yourself, William. We sometimes we go on to other podcasters, it's like Not Another Rangers podcast and stuff, and we'll see a lot of these guys and gals who are on these chat groups as well. So when we do come on, they're always very welcoming, even when we're on other people's podcasts. So yeah, the support's fantastic, and hopefully we're giving you the right content, and that's what you just want. So yeah, good stuff.
100%. Well, we'll leave it with that one, the sniper. It's the accent, lad, so we just love it. I love that one.
And the best part of it is we think we sound like there's something not right with us. It's like it's weird, that, isn't it? If you're from Northern Ireland, you think your accent's awful, but if you're not in Northern Ireland, everybody thinks it's great. So I don't know.
100%, 100%. As I say, so thanks very much.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we'll give you a shout out. I'll give you a wee shout, mate, and we'll get that sorted out. Definitely, we'll get you on again.
100%, great guys. Yeah, great guys, fantastic.
All right, so everyone, enjoy yourselves. Especially, as I say, anyone watching the 11th, 12th, be safe, enjoy, and celebrate your traditions. We'll definitely be doing that ourselves here, and we'll speak to you again soon, guys. Bye.